I'm Ben Hooke. I was the head of media and communications at Swindon Town up until this August. It definitely did initially. Obviously, when the whole country was in shutdown and there was no football being played, there was a lot of reliance on archive footage and sort of first-person content, where it was sort of user-generated content where you had to talk to the player over text and they had to sort of answer questions sort of off their own back rather than you doing it in person or over Zoom. Now that games are going ahead, it's probably slightly different because the game's going ahead, but your most engaged audience previously would have been at the county ground or at home games especially, whereas now your most engaged audience is watching from home and taking the game in via Twitter, which is completely different to usual. Usually your most engaged audience is at the ground, so it sort of changes the emphasis of your content to after the game rather than during. Yeah, I think it does. Like, you can't, I think for content, especially video, it relies on emotion, it relies on sort of passion, and that does come predominantly from the fans. There is that intensity and that sort of nervousness that sort of football feeds off, where I think that is now lost. But I also think there's that content like County Ground Uncut can also play a huge role in sort of bringing the fans closer at this time. So I think the content itself is probably not as enjoyable for the fans to watch, but I think it also serves potentially a greater purpose. Like, it's more important now than it was last season or the season before, simply because it's the only way that fans are close to any action at all.